Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham karishyami siddhir me sada yena akshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha vakyakaram vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagarthaviva Samprikto Vagarthav Pratipattaye Jagatav Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwarao Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Om A I Un Rilik A Ong I Ouch Haya Varata Larna Gyama Garnanam Jabhanya Gardhadash Jabagadash Kapha Chatha Chatatav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani Om Su Aujas Od Shas Ta Bhyam Bhis Nge Bhyam Bhyas Ngasi Bhyam Bhyas Ngas Os Ni Os Sup. Welcome everyone. Feels like it's been a long time. So we'll just remember what we were doing. We were seeing mana shabda in our last class. So this is us. So we've been seeing the last two classes, us ending napumsaka. So this is page 145, page 145 in the white book. So us ending napumsaka mana shabda. So this is where we left off. So we'll pick up from this. We'll see manas today. We'll also see the next pratipadika, which is cakṣuṣ. Cakṣuṣ, jyotiṣ. Yeah, there's two, two together, combo. So we'll see those. And so when we're looking at us ending napumsaka, you see it looks like this. In 1121, you're adding manas plus su, right? You'll see here, right? Did not want to do that. Sorry, one second. So you have manas plus su, su goes away. So then the sakara at the end of manas becomes visarga, right? So manaha and manaha, 1121. Sakara becomes visarga at the end of a word, right? We've seen that a few times. What we know then is in napumsaka linga, 1, 2, 2, 2 is long e. We add that suffix e, right? So manas plus e, manasi. And in 1-3, this little funny things happen. What happens is there's an addition of a nakara. So it becomes manants. Manants plus short e. So manants plus e. Then the akara in the middle of the two nas becomes dirgha. So manans. So it becomes first manas becomes manants, then manans becomes manans, and then you just add together and it becomes manansi. Now you see there's this anuswara because of there's a sandhi there. Being followed by sakara, it becomes anuswara. Okay, so what we know is manaha, manasi, manamsi. Manaha, 2-1, manasi, manamsi. Let's do say one more time. Manaha, manasi, manansi. Manaha, manasi, manansi. And then what happens is in the pada section, you have a sakara at the end of a pada. So then it becomes visarga. So it becomes manaha plus bhyam. And because of namo namaha sandhi, mano bhyam. Yeah, you have this visarga next to a soft consonant, and that invokes namo namaha sandhi. So mano bhyam. And then we see in 7-3, manas plus su. When you have a visarga next to a sakara, you get an extra sakara. So manasu. Okay, so let's chant the whole chart, but let's chant it with something else. Let's take tapas. Okay, the word tapas. Okay, so we're going to chant this with the word tapas. So 1-1, tapaha, tapasi, tapamsi. Tapaha, tapasi, tapamsi. Then we just add tapasa, tapobhyam, tapobihi. 4-1, tapase, tapobhyam, tapobhyaha. 5-1, tapasaha, tapobhyam, tapobhyaha. 6-1, tapasaha. 6-2, tapasoho, tapasam. Tapasi, 7-1. 7-2 is tapasoho. And then 7-3, tapasu. And you can write it either way. That sakara is optional. So you can write it either way. You'll pronounce it the same way though. Tapasu. Really, that's the only way you really hear it pronounced. He tapaha, he tapasi, he tapansi. Okay. Now is your manas woken up? Yeah, okay. A little bit. A little bit. So let's go to our next shabda. This is page 146. That's Jyotish-Caksus. Right, so we know the word Jyotish. Jyotish, right, you hear the word Jyotihi a lot. Jyoti, right, light. Right. Mano Jyotihi, the light behind the mind. You see that in Vedanta a lot, where consciousness is likened to light. And here they often use the word Jyoti or Jyotish. So this is ish or ush ending napumsaka. Okay, so we're still in Napumsaka Linga, just like what we saw. We saw manas, which was also Napumsaka. This is not us ending, this is ish or ush ending. Why can we can see both? Because they decline basically the same way, like the rules are the same. We would just add an u instead of an e. We'll see that. This is also very similar to what we just saw in manas. Okay, this chart is very similar to what we saw in manas. Some of the same rules we saw there are going to apply here, right? So it's good that we reviewed that, so then we can see this. So this is Ishanta Napumsakalinga Shabdaha. Okay. So first of all, we need to remember this is Napumsakalinga. 1, 2, 2, 2 is long E, and 1, 3, 2, 3 we add short E, right? Just so we remember that. Okay. So just what we've seen in jyotish, and then we have su, right? Or Now those both go away. And we're left with the shakara at the end of a pada, shakara. Now, shakara at the end of a pada becomes visarga, just like sakara at the end of a pada becomes visarga. Okay, so whether it's sa or murdanya shakara, they're both going to become visarga. Okay, so we treat them very similarly here. So jyotish 1-1 becomes jyotihi. Then in 1-2, we're going to add this long ikara, right? Long ikara. So then I have jyotish plus e, that's it, jyotishi. First e is short, second e is long, so jyotishi. You just have to jyotishi. I'm saying a little longer than we need to, just so we remember. So jyotihi, jyotishi, and then similarly to what we've seen in the last in manas, you're going to get an extra letter nakara. Extra letter na is going to be inserted. So being sha ending pratipadika in the sarvanamasthana. Remember, sarvanamasthana is only 1, 3, 2, 3 for Napumsakalinga. Okay, that's the differentiation in Napumsakalinga. The sarvanamasthana section is only 1, 3, and 2, 3. So in that 1, 3, 2, 3, we're going to add an extra letter na after the last vowel. So the last vowel we see is this ikara, right? Jyoti. Ikara is the last vowel we see. So after the ikara, we're going to add the nakara. Now, it looks funny in Devanagari because it looks like it's coming after takara. But it's just how it's written, right? We know that the sound of E is directly preceding that nakara there. Jyotini, right? So even though it looks, the hook goes on the left side, it's still sounded out afterwards. Okay, I probably made it more complicated than I need to, but it comes after the ikara. So you have jyotinsh and then e. Jyotinsh e. Now the penultimate, so the ikara before the extra nakara is becoming dirgha, elongated. So jyotimsh becomes jyotimsh. Okay, just like we saw, manans becomes manans. Similarly here, jyotimsh becomes jyotimsh. Plus e, And then this nakara becomes anuswara from that same sutra we saw last time. When you have a sibilant, sa or shakara afterwards, then it's going to become anuswara. So it becomes jyotiṣ, jyotiṣ. Right? So, okay, 1-1, you don't even need to look, right? 1-1, shakara becomes visarga, right? Jyoti. 1-2, we're just adding long e, jyotiṣi. So jyotihi, jyotiṣi, then this funny business, jyotiṣ. Jyotiṣ. Jyotihi, jyotiṣi, jyotiṣ. Okay, now you're going to be walking around the house today, and you're going to say jyotihi, jyotiṣi, jyotiṣ. Okay, so with that, we get this whole section. All of this rest of this part here is all going to be following, just adding, right? We're going to add the usual suffixes. Let's look at this pada section, okay? I have jyotish, right? Sorry, jyotish. I have jyotish plus bhyam. Right, so we're just looking at 2-3. The same thing goes for 2-2. This should say 2-2. I'm not sure why it says 2-3. This should not, sorry, this should say 3-2. There was just a switching. So you can correct that in your book. This should say 3-2. Right, so we have jyotish plus bhyam. Now remember that when you have bhyam, that whole pada section, the pada status is given to the anga, what's preceding it. So this jyotish is said to be an anga. Now that anga gets the status of pada. Okay, so now this is a pada. Now that it's a pada, I have a shakara at the end of a pada. What happens when we have shakara at the end of the pada? Just like sakara at the end of the pada, it becomes visarga. It says as though becomes visarga because there's actually, we don't actually use the visarga sandhi when we're coming to the sutras. The sutras are slightly different, but this is the easiest way of understanding it. So that's why we're bringing in the visarga sandhi. Okay, we don't actually use the visarga sandhi sutras, but that's irrelevant for us. So that's why it says as though. Anyways, the shakara at the end becomes visarga. So jyotihi plus bhyam. Right? Now we have Gurur Brahma Sandhi. Yeah, you remember Guru Brahma? We'll just quickly look at Guru Brahma. I have it right here for us, waiting. Guru Brahma. Guru Brahma Sandhi. Okay, here's Guru Brahma Sandhi. When I have, first you look at, right, Purva, what's preceding. So if I have any itch, okay, not this kind of itch, scratching my nose itch. Itch is any of these vowels except for akara. Right? Okay. Avarna will be technical. So if it's not a or a, then it's itch if it's a vowel. So when I have any vowel other than avarna, then whatever is following it, whether it's short akara any vowel other than the short a, or if it's a soft consonant, it's all going to be, you're going to get this refa. This is rakara. Rakara we call refa. I don't know why we have this name refa. So for example, you have gurur adihi. So the word is guruhu adihi. Okay, so I have guru, it ends with ukara, which is ich. Following it, I have a. So it's not short akara, well, it can be short akara, but it's a. Whatever comes afterwards, it's going to be, you get that extra refa. So it becomes gurur adihi. Gurur eva param brahma. Right? Gurur Brahma. It's not Guru Brahma, it's Gurur Brahma, right? Because Guruhu Brahma. That's a soft consonant there. Okay. So similarly, here, Jyotish-Caksus, we have Visarga followed by a soft consonant Bha. So this Visarga becomes Refa. So Jyotir Brahma. Sorry, not Jyotir Brahma. I think Guru Brahma. Jyotir Bhyam. I like that. Jyotir Brahma. That's also right. The light of consciousness. Jyotir Brahma. Jyotir Bhyam. Okay. Finally, we have the 7-3. 7-3, this su is also part of the pada section, meaning that this anga is going to become a pada. What that means is I have a shakara at the end of a pada. It becomes visarga. So jyotihi su. Now, you have two forms. It can be just jyoti and then shu. Why does it become shu? Yeah, there's murdanya sandhi. Okay. And what happens is, so when you have visarga followed by any sibilant, it's going to, any sasha, right? It's going to, you're going to get that extra letter. So it can become jyotishu. Jyotishu. So you can write it either way, these two ways. So, okay. Let's try to avoid looking at this chart. Okay, we're going to, you can look at the chart, you have it in the book in front of you, that's okay. But we're going to look at it here. We're going to, okay. So now the word is what? Jyotish. Okay, now jyotish plus su, su goes away, shakara becomes visarga, jyotihi. Now, this is not helpful for us because we're in Napumsakalinga. 1, 2 becomes long E. So jyotishi. So jyotihi, jyotishi, and then short ikara here. And then jyotimshi. So jyotihi, jyotishi, jyotimshi. Again, 2, 1, jyotishi. Sorry, no, jyotihi, jyotishi, jyotimshi. Okay. Now we're clear. Now we're a little bit more clear. Jyotihi, jyotishi, jyotimshi. Okay, now jyotish plus a, jyotisha. Jyotish plus bhyam, remember? Jyotirbhyam. Shakara becomes Visarga, Visarga Guru Brahma. So Jyotisha, Jyotirbhyam, then Jyotirbhihi. Jyotishe, Jyotirbhyam, Jyotirbhyaha. This just ends up becoming us. Okay? Us. So Jyotishaha, Jyotirbhyam, Jyotirbhyaha. Jyotishaha, Jyotishoho, Jyotisham. Jyotishi, this becomes E. All this nakaras go away. So Jyotishi, short, Jyotishoho, and then Jyotiṣ, Jyotiṣu. Hey Jyotihi, hey Jyotishi, hey Jyotimshi. All right, let's take up one more. Okay, we have Arjish, which is a ray of light. We see that in Mundaka Upanishad. We see that word Arjish. Havish. Havish we see more commonly. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. Okay, Havish. Havish is an oblation. You're offering something you offer into the fire. Right? Havish. Something you're offering. Okay, let's try it out. Do you think we can just keep this up and we can try it out? Okay, but just ignore these first two cases because it's not too helpful. Right? We're doing Havish. So Havihi, Havishi, Havimshi. Havihi, Havishi, Havimshi. This is like Sudoku. 3-1. No. Havisha, Havirbhyam, Havirbihi. 4-1. Havishe, Havirbhyam, Havirbhyaha. 5-1. Havish plus us. Right? Havishaha, Havirbhyam, Havirbhyaha. 6-1. Havishaha, Havishoho. 6-3. Havisham. 7-1. Havishi, Havishoho, Havishu. Hey Havihi, hey Havishi, hey Havimshi. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. Now you know the word is not like Hari. The word is not like Hari. The word is Havish, Shakaranta. Yeah. This is why, so, it was, so many words from the beginning of our class, since we've been doing this for so many years, I just had to say, oh, later we'll get there, later. Agre sputi bhavishyati. It'll become clear later. Now it's, we're getting there slowly. Okay, I'll take the question in a moment. I just want to point out one thing. When we have now ush ending napumsaka letter words, because remember we said this is jyotish or cakṣuṣ. Jyotish or cakṣuṣ. So the declension is the same as for ish ending. just change E into U and long E into U. Yeah, let's just do the first two cases, okay? Let's take, yeah, we can take Ayush. Ayushman Baba. Okay, Ayush. Okay, Ayush. So the Shakara becomes just there. So Ayuhu. That's why we get Ayurveda, by the way. Ayuhu. Now we add long U. So the word is Ayush. So Ayush. Sorry. Yeah. So you get, so Ayush plus long E is the same. Ayushi. And then Ayumshi. Ayuhu. Ayushi. Ayumshi. There's a question, has it become Ayush? Ayushu? Let's just check that. I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah, so we get it here, right? Ayushi. Now that's 7-1. So let me see if there's another good. So it's still Ayushi and Ayumshi. See, here we have cakṣuṣ. Now, where we see the U becomes long is because you see how, just how here this Jyoti E became long there. Similar U become long. So what I'm talking about is this. So when I had Jyotimsh, and then it becomes Jyotimsh. So similarly, we can say, if we have the word Ayush, right? It'll be Ayumsh plus E, then that becomes long, Ayumsh plus E. So Ayumshi. So we still added the same way. So Ayuhu, Ayushi, Ayumshi. Ayuhu, Ayushi, Ayumshi. Okay, so not too much different. Ayusha, Ayurbhyam, Ayurbihi. So we're gonna pause there. You can keep going in your head. I'm gonna take the question that's there. So Haraprasad ji, if you wanna unmute yourself.
May I?
Please.
So in 7-3, so we can say jyotiṣ or jyotiṣ. That I understand. It is similar in the Visarga Sandhi.
Yeah.
Now, so in Upadmaniya, when we say, let's say punah, punaha, so the visarga stays. So it is really punaha, punaha.
Correct.
Is that right? I think it is right, but what I'm saying is the visarga stays, visarga does not go away when you say punah, punaha.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we even do make so the answer is yes, but sometimes we even do write that, remember that smiley and sad face, that symbol?
Yes.
So sometimes we do even replace the visarga with that to note that there's going to be this sandhi. The sound change. So punaf punaha. You can say punaha punaha, but if you're reading them together, there will be a sandhi. Right. And so you have to say punaf punaha.
Yeah, that is in pronunciation.
Yeah.
But in writing, it is really punaha punaha. We
Correct.
cannot write puna without, visarga and write punaha.
You can write it like this though. This smiley sad face. That symbol stands for Padmaniya.
Yeah, that I understand. No, that is not the question. The question is, yeah, this indicates it is a upadmaniya. There is a
Yeah.
visarga there.
Correct.
That's not my question. My question is, when you're chanting, we can say punah punaha.
Correct.
Or we will give a gap. Punaha, I will leave one matra, punaha, punaha.
Correct. Yeah, you're right. That's okay as well.
That's okay.
As long as you leave the gap.
Okay. Yeah.
As long as you-
Dhanyawada. Yeah, got it.
So as long as the gap there. So that depends on where you pause, for example. Okay. All right. We'll pause here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om. So, one good practice would be to look at these words and decline them, right? Just like the chart. You can either actually write them out or you can just practice saying out. Okay, we'll continue with looking at these a little bit more and then we'll look at some practice. And then hopefully we'll see our last Pratipadika of the book next class. Okay, we'll take a few minutes.